They came from over 400 miles away, not for a trophy, not for points, just for a fight. In August 1990, a so-called friendly between Millwall and Hibernian turned into one of the most unexpected and violent clashes in British football history. The Scottish firm, the Capital City Service, had something to prove, and they chose one of the most dangerous places to do it: the Den, home of the infamous Millwall Bushwackers. What followed wasn't just a few punches outside a pub. It was a coordinated invasion. Windows smashed, cars flipped, pubs wrecked. Even West Ham's inner-city firm, Millwall's biggest rivals, ended up praising Hibs in the newspaper. This is the true story of Millwall versus Hibs 1990, when a Scottish firm shocked England and walked straight into the lion's den. Chapter 1. By 1990, the Capital City Service, or CCS, had already made a name for themselves in Scotland. Backed by Hibernian FC, they were one of the toughest Scottish firms, known for being smart, sharp-dressed, and brutally efficient when it came to violence. But down south, they were still just a rumor, so when a preseason friendly was scheduled between Hibs and Millwall at the Den, the CES saw their chance. This wasn't just a match, it was a message, a trip deep into enemy territory, straight into the heart of South London, to test themselves against one of the most feared mobs in the country, the Millwall Bushwackers. But things didn't start smoothly. Just an hour before the trip, the Edinburgh police showed up and canceled the coaches. The buses were ordered back to their depots. The trip, they said, was off. But the CCS weren't backing down that easily. Like something out of a heist film, Hibs lads split up and made their way to London any way they could. By train, car, even by plane. One by one, they started arriving, and before long, a quiet pub off Oxford Street, the Hog and the Pound, was filled with Scottish voices, clinking glasses, and one goal in mind: get to Millwall, make an impact, and survive it. Chapter 2. With their numbers growing and the drinks flowing, the CCS left the safety of central London and headed south, straight toward the Den. But they didn't sneak through the back streets, no. They marched down Old Kent Road, one of the most recognizable and dangerous parts of Millwall territory. It was a bold move. Some would say foolish. But for the CCS, it was about pride. They wanted to be seen. And they were. Just half a mile from the stadium, they spotted a well-known Millwall pub, the Crown and Anchor. That's when things kicked off. A group of Millwall lads stepped out. Bigger, older, more experienced. For a moment, it was toe-to-toe. Fists flying, bottles thrown. But as more Hibs lads joined from behind, the fight tipped in their favor. Millwall were pushed back inside the pub. Windows shattered, plant pots were launched, and in the chaos, someone overturned a car, setting off alarms and drawing attention from all directions. The battle lasted just minutes, but it was explosive. By the time police arrived, the damage was done. Several CCS members were arrested, but many slipped away and regrouped. Then came the second wave. Outside the away end, more taxis pulled up, dropping off fresh groups of Hibs boys who had traveled separately, and Millwall responded. Another clash erupted, this time right near the stadium. Plainclothes Scottish police officer was even caught in the middle of it. Chaos was unfolding in broad daylight, and kickoff hadn't even happened yet. Chapter 3. The Aftermath. As the match kicked off, the situation outside was still volatile. Some CCS members managed to get inside the stadium. Others stayed outside, still buzzing from the earlier fights. But Millwall weren't done. Word had spread fast. A Scottish mob had taken liberties in their own backyard, and the Bushwackers were out for revenge. Outside the away end, they began to gather, in larger and larger numbers. The police were now on high alert, scrambling to hold back both sides. But it was clear, Millwall weren't letting this go. After the match, it exploded. A full-scale pitched battle broke out. Bricks, pool balls, makeshift weapons. It was brutal, and this time, the Millwall firm had the numbers. The CCS fought hard, but the odds had turned. Many were chased, cornered, and battered. Some were arrested. Others legged it through the train lines, disappearing into the London night. The police eventually formed a massive escort, surrounding what was left of the CCS and marching them to the nearest tube station. Street after street was blocked off. It wasn't just crowd control, and it was containment to stop Millwall from doing any more damage. And in the Evening Standard the following week, an unexpected message appeared in the classified section. Congratulations, Hibs. Job well done. West Ham ICF. Even Millwall's most bitter enemies had to respect what happened that night. Most Scottish firms never dared to take on the English mobs on their own turf. But in 1990, Hibs Capital City Service did exactly that. They faced Millwall at home, took on one of the most feared hooligan outfits in the country and lived to tell the tale. And in doing so, they made history. This wasn't just a clash, it was a statement. A reminder that respect in the firm world isn't given, it's earned. Even if it means walking through the lion's den to get it.